All right, here we go. Hello everyone, CrystalFissure here, and welcome to myself and Nintendogen64 discussing wrestling. I know you guys, my channel is clearly a wrestling channel. It's not a Spyro Crash platformer vlog music channel. It's all been about wrestling all along.
Yes, that's right.
And
I know. We're like, think about it. Your brand is expanding, CrystalFissure.
that's
We're
right,
talking about wrestling on your channel. It's amazing.
my
The
brand
incredible
has
demand that's there for us to talk about wrestling. It's just unbelievable. So we have to
It's
satisfy the demand.
unbelievable. First, there was, I can't believe it. Ando stole my idea. I was going to do Wardrobe Wednesday, but
Mm.
now I'm bloody. I've had to. My second choice was to talk about wrestling, and this is
Wrestling
what we're going to
Saturday.
do. Wrestling Saturday nights, exactly. Saturday night's main event. We're here to talk
Sunday Superstars.
Sunday. Yeah, well, yeah, Sunday Soup. Yeah, so we are here to discuss a particular event that will be happening at the start of next year. So, for a little bit of
Yes.
background, New Japan is a big, and if you're watching this, you would know what New Japan is most likely. If you're actually watching this in the after the stream. Big wrestling company in Japan, the biggest in Japan. Every year they have a big event. You can see the background of the picture right there, the Tokyo Dome. That is where they house this event called Wrestle Kingdom, and they have it every single year on the 4th of January. And we went this year. For the first time. It was a fantastic show. It was my first New Japan show, and it was Angus's first New Japan show as well. He hadn't watched too much of it beforehand. I was probably watching it casually-ish, maybe a bit more or less, depending on the situation, for about 2 years prior to that, Wrestle Kingdom 9. And so what we want to do is we kind of want to have a prediction of what we think the card will be about just under 3 months, or I think, about 3 months out. Yeah, basically about 3 months out. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, honestly, last year's Wrestle Kingdom, or this year's Wrestle Kingdom, sure, Kingdom 11 completely sold me on New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like, I've been subscribed to the New Japan Pro Wrestling World streaming service, and I've been watching pretty much every event this entire year, and I've been hooked on it. And
Yeah.
and this is the most like into wrestling I think I've been in my entire life. And I've been a WWE fan, or former WWE fan, for almost 10 years now. So
Yeah.
it says a lot about the product that New Japan's putting out for me to completely switch over to them and cut out WWE entirely. So,
That's right. Usually a lot of the time people will use other wrestling companies like New Japan or Ring of Honor or Lucha Underground or TNA or whatever. They will use these promotions as sort of an alternative to the mainstream, the biggest company, WWE. But what I've found, in our case at the very least, it's actually now completely supplanted WWE. Like, WWE is not, for us, the primary discussion, show. We actually do not watch it at all. This is like our main promotion, I guess.
yeah,
And
yeah, of course.
and that's what's happening a lot, in the last year or so. That's definitely a sentiment I've seen that is shared by many. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm pretty excited that it's like a really great feeling that when you can feel like you can discuss a wrestling company and it not just be like 10 other people now. Like, it really does feel like you can go online, you can discuss this promotion, and there'll be hundreds and thousands of people willing to discuss it with you. Whereas a couple
Oh
of
yeah,
years
yeah,
ago,
yeah.
no, you could not.
No,
You'd have to really
exactly.
look.
And as a testament to that, we're doing our first ever uh, discussion video on New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I think it's very apropos if we're predicting the Wrestle Kingdom 12 show to actually go through what's coming up very shortly in about a couple weeks. It's New Japan's Power Struggle event, which is happening on the 5th of November, and it's their last sort of major show before Wrestle Kingdom 12, and sort of the events of that show will really lead into Wrestle Kingdom. So why don't we
That's right.
kick things off and talk about sort of what's happening there.
All right. Yep. Good idea. So we have Power Struggle, which is coming up. This is a pay-per-view, basically. This is coming up in November 5th, 2017 in the Edion Arena, Osaka. So they do this. They've done this show every year for... I'm actually gonna quickly look at that. Since 2011, they've done a Power Struggle show. So that's pretty cool. And it's been in Osaka for the last 3 years now. And yeah, it's actually been in Osaka the entire time, but they've been in different arenas and stuff like that. They've done it in the Edion Arena, the Prefectural Gymnasium, and the Bodymaker Coliseum, which I have never heard of in my life. But
never heard of the Bodymaker.
Never heard of the no. Oh wait. They renamed it. Oh, okay. That's the Prefectural Gymnasium. So
it's the same arena.
yeah. Okay. So Power Struggle is, it's not as big of a show as King of Pro Wrestling, which is the show that was just on, the major show that's just on, but it is a pretty big show overall. They do like to throw a few curveballs and, in terms of the card and stuff like that. And it's going to be headlined by Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kota Ibushi, who that's for the IC Championship, so the Intercontinental Championship, which is commonly known as sort of the second, almost, I wouldn't even really say, it just depends on the situation, but I wouldn't really say it's a level 2 title. It's more like a 1A, especially depending on who holds it. So
yeah, well, I agree with that too, but I just think in recent months it has been sort of presented as a secondary champion. I think it's maybe fallen a little bit behind the US title, actually.
I think it's because of the title holder and his lingering injuries that I feel like it's not as busy as it used to be, sort of thing. Like when Nakamura held it, who is now in WWE. But yeah, he held the title. I think the longest out of everyone. I'm pretty sure he like always had it. And where we'll talk about this in a bit more detail later with the Wrestle Kingdom card. But the IC title, I think, where a lot of its reputation as being like a 1A title actually comes from the fact that it did main event a Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh yeah,
Wrestle Kingdom
exactly.
8 in particular.
That does feed into this year's Wrestle Kingdom too.
And it does. And in fact, it's in fact arguably could be the most single important moment in the company's probably last 6 years. I think.
Oh, yeah.
What actually happened there. But so we've got that match there. We've also got Will Ospreay versus Marty Scurll, two imports, two Brits going for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. That's for WWE fans. It's kind of like the Cruiserweight title, but with probably about 20 times the prestige. A very, very prestigious title held by many greats. We also have Minoru Suzuki versus Toru Yano.
Yes, my Jorvan's favorite wrestler, my friend Jorvan's absolute favorite New Japan wrestler.
Oh, that's going to be fun. That's going to be a lot of fun.
And that's a bull rope death match.
Bull rope death match. Actually, New Japan loves to call matches death matches that aren't even like that violent. Have you noticed that?
They've got lumberjack death match, bull rope death match, and this is for the Never Openweight Championship, and that's like I kind of liken it to like a hardcore title almost, or some kind of like, but in the sense of it's like guys beating the shit out of each other, like not. Yeah. And it's older-ish guys as well, like guys late 30s, 40s, kind of early 50s. It's like the brawler title, I would say.
Yeah, that's right. No, I agree with that. Yeah. So, and then was there anything else? There was also the other. Oh no, that's right. Yeah. The finals of the 2017 Super Junior Tag Tournament. So that is me and you both seem to think that it will be Sho and Yo of Roppongi 3K versus, don't know. I mean,
well, I think it'll be them versus probably the Suzuki Gun guys. Who was that? That's Taichi and Taka Michinoku.
Oh yeah,
Actually, no. Sorry,
El
I changed.
Desperado.
Sorry, yeah, El Desperado and Kanemaru. I think it'll be those two guys, El Desperado, Kanemaru, and Roppongi 3K. That'll be the finals match, and I think Roppongi 3K are gonna win that. Actually, I think we're gonna go in the direction that they're like the aces of the junior tag team
Mm-hmm.
division. Like
Yeah,
they'll be, and then this has ramifications for my Wrestle Kingdom 12 card predictions as well, because historically the winning team in this tournament faces the champion team at Wrestle Kingdom.
yeah, yeah.
It
Oh,
happened last
okay.
year.
I think I
It
know. What
happened
yeah,
the year before. So, well, it didn't happen. Yeah, it did happen the year before. Sorry. So if Roppongi 3K win this match, I think it'll set up for a different match at Wrestle Kingdom that otherwise couldn't happen if another team won this.
that's right. So, in terms of who wins these power struggle matches, at this point, I'm just gonna go with Will Ospreay. Roppongi 3K will, if they make it to the finals, they will win, and I think that it's very. I think I'm going to say Tanahashi wins as well. What do you think? You agree with that? Oh,
Yeah. So I have for Power Struggle thus far. Obviously, there'll be probably some like miscellaneous tag matches thrown in here. Probably like a Chaos versus LIJ match.
yeah,
or something
yeah.
like
So this doesn't include the undercard for anyone wondering. This is just like sort of they haven't actually announced that yet, but it'll be good. You Kenny Omega
Yeah,
will
but
be
that,
there and stuff
I'm
like that.
assuming. Yeah, I'm assuming those matches won't impact my prediction. So what I've got here is Roppongi 3K are going to win the tournament. I've got Minoru Suzuki going over Toriyano. I've got Will Ospreay going over Marty Scurll, and I've got Tanahashi going over Kota Ibushi. So all three champions going into into Power Struggle will actually, I'm predicting, go into Wrestle Kingdom as champions as well. So
Yeah, that's
I
right.
don't think we're going to see any. I don't think we're going to see any title changes between now and Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh,
To be
okay.
perfectly honest.
Yeah, no, I can see that as well. So, with that being said, let's jump straight into Wrestle Kingdom 12. How do you
Yes.
think it's going to open? What do you think is going to be the opening match? And judging by history, I feel like we're going to get a return of sorts. But
Oh,
I'll
really?
let you. I'll let
Do you
you
know what?
not return as in like a wrestler, just a return of a match type. So, but I'll let you start.
Oh, okay. Well, I have on the pre-show that there's going to be a New Japan
Oh,
Rumble,
of
actually.
course, yeah, that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm making. I mean, there's like probably there's 20 guys in it, but I don't know. I'm going to go with because I couldn't find anywhere for this guy on the card, and he's a pretty popular wrestler, and New Japan usually have him placed in pretty relatively prominent positions, and I don't think there's anything for him to do this year. I think Togi Makabe is going to win the New Japan Rumble.
Okay.
I don't know. It
Cool.
just feels right to me. I don't know. I just think that last year or this year he was teaming with Honma. Honma's out, obviously. So, and it doesn't look like they've got any other plans for him. And he's not part of a 6-man group or anything. So, I think he'll probably just go into the New Japan Rumble.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll also talk about this before I get into the card proper. But I don't have a lot of Bullet Club guys on this card.
Interesting. Okay.
It's a very Bullet Club light card, so I think a few of those guys, like for instance, I know Bad Luck Fale is relatively liked by the New Japan office,
Mhm.
and he seems to get interestingly prominent positions, but I actually couldn't find a spot for him on the card. Same with
Yep.
Chase Owens, Yujiro Takahashi as well,
Yep.
and Hangman Page. Actually, I couldn't find anything for him on the card.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. I think that they're definitely likely to be in the Rumble, which is I mean it's good fun. Like it's sort of just this sort of as people enter the arena sort of pre-show type match. Yuji Nagata won it in Wrestle Kingdom 9. I was actually going to think that maybe he would win the Rumble only because of his performance in the G1 this year. So but I think it could be someone like Makabe as well. Absolutely, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, definitely. So then I had my first match on the card proper was a fatal 4-way tag team match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag
It's
Team
exactly
Championship.
what I was thinking. Exactly, that's
Now,
exactly what I was going to say.
I put a little thought into the teams I would have in this match, and I was just looking at the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship from this year.
Mhm.
So, not including Roppongi Vice, who are sort of not really a thing anymore, but I would have Roppongi 3K as their substitute for that. And because Ricochet is out, we can't have Funky Future. So just bear that in mind. I have Roppongi 3K taking on the team of the Young Bucks,
Definitely.
Taguchi Japan, which I have as ACH, and Ryusuke Taguchi. And the fourth team in that would be Suzuki Gun, and I've got Taichi and Yoshinobu Kanemaru as the guys representing Taichi.
Kanemaru. Yeah.
Kanemaru, yes, and Taichi representing Suzuki Gun. The reason I have those teams is because they were all former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team champions in the year of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So that Suzuki Gun team, Ryusuke Taguchi and Ricochet as Funky Future were champs as well this year, and the Young Bucks, of course, were. So I would have that match as like the fast-paced, Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship opener match, and I would actually have Roppongi 3K go over here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that could very much happen as well. So if you're actually looking, the reason why we say this with such, I guess you could say confidence, why I think this will end up being the match, is that in the past, so from I believe Wrestle Kingdom 8, I know Wrestle Kingdom 8, 9, and 10, they had this fatal 4-way match. And it would basically open the card, or it would be like an early match on the card, and it would be, for example, Wrestle Kingdom 8, you had Young Bucks defeating Forever Hooligans, which is Rocky Romero and Alex Kozlov, Suzuki Gun, so Taichi and Taka, and the Time Splitters, Alex Shelley and Kushida. Then in Wrestle Kingdom 9, you had Young Bucks. You had Forever Hooligans in their final match before Alex Kozlov basically retired. Time Splitters again, and the Young Bucks and Red Dragon. So Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. The year after that, you had it with was it Ricochet and I think Ricochet and what's his name, Matt Sydal were in it as well. So they seem to really like doing, and these matches are like actually some of them, in the longer amount of time taken match, because they're basically like just a clusterfuck of like spots and just insane moments. It's like, and if you ask me, I remember when I watched Wrestle Kingdom 9, that was the first Wrestle Kingdom I watched. It was just crazy. Like I had never really seen that style of wrestling apart from Lucha Underground. So just seeing like all of this sort of crazy shit going on, like I absolutely loved it. It was awesome.
So you got a similar match to you? Did you actually like plan the teams you would put in that? Or
every single team that you said, but I would say with Suzuki Gun, just based on history with Wrestle Kingdom 8, I feel like there's also a chance it could be Taka and Taichi or something like that, or even Desperado or something like that. Like I feel like it could be any of those combinations from Suzuki Gun.
Okay, yeah. So far so good. Then for my my second match of the main card, I had, and this is just completely ripped off last year, so I don't even know if this will happen, but I had a gauntlet match for the Never Openweight 6-Man Tag Team Championship.
Yep.
And in this match, I had LIJ, which is the current champions of Bushi, Evil, Sonata. I had them taking on Bullet Club. Now, this version of Bullet Club, this iteration, I actually had, Gorillas of Destiny and Leo Tonga as the trio.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Yep.
And I have them against Chaos, which in my version of Chaos here, I've got Toru Yano, Hiroki Goto, and Beretta.
Yep.
And then they're also facing Suzuki Gun, which is Zack Sabre Jr., El Desperado, and Takahashi Iizuka.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I forgot about him. Jesus Christ. He's going to be on the card. He's actually going to be on the card.
And,
oh, my God.
I actually have LIJ to retain the titles at this event.
So
I think they're gonna...
So two matches, two retaining.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So
cool.
I don't think we're gonna see like the same thing we saw last year, where every single title is changed, basically.
Oh yeah, except for the main. Yeah, that's right. Oh wait, no, hold up.
Intercontinental didn't change.
I see. Yeah. I for some reason it sort of feels like Tanahashi went in as champion, but he actually didn't. It was actually Naito. But so with that match, I'm not going to add any of my own suggestions there, because I think that you've actually, I think again, that's the same thing. I would probably say the same thing. Like, I hadn't thought of it, but that I knew there was going to be a gauntlet with some combination of those guys. I think that definitely seems the case.
That's 4 teams actually. I think last year was only 3 teams. So
back with 9. This is another thing they had. So they had like an 8-man tag, and it was Suzuki-gun as well. And that was actually before I properly knew what it was. But it was, so it was like Davey Boy, Lance Archer, Shelton X Benjamin, and Takashi Iizuka. And it was against Naomichi Marufuji, TMDK, so the Mighty Don't Kneel, who are now in NXT, and Toru Yano. And I remember that as well, because I remember that'd been the first time I saw Shelton Benjamin in like 5 years, because he used to be in Suzuki-gun, which is kind of, a lot of people don't remember that, but it's a bit before your time, but then they went to Noah and stuff like that. So I think, I think, actually, to sort of jump slightly ahead, do you have a spot for Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith Jr.?
I do indeed, but
Okay.
but I will say this though, I think my biggest annoyance when I went to look at like the potential matches for this card, my biggest sort of, I don't know, disappointment was that Hiroki Goto seems to be lost in the shuffle this year.
Yeah.
There's really not a lot for him to do going into Wrestle Kingdom tour. But I don't think if he comes back at all, I don't think Shibata will be back in time. So I don't see any kind of potential rematch there. And I don't know. It just seems this year, since losing the Never Openweight title to Suzuki, he's been sort of treading water a little bit.
He has done absolutely nothing. Seriously.
Yeah. So
I can't really blame on him. I'm not. I don't blame him.
But actually, most of the guys in Chaos are really like nothing guys at the moment. So
it's sort of interesting actually with Chaos, with the whole thing with Roppongi 3K actually joining Chaos, sort of basically unofficially because of what happened with, Greg, what's his name, Beretta left. They split up Roppongi Vice, and they were in, and what's his name, Romero was in Chaos as well, and so he's brought in these underlings. So they're sort of unofficially part of the team. And actually, when Okada was asked about him, he's like, "Oh, I don't really know him very well. I mean, he obviously doesn't in real life, but I don't really know him, but I will get to know him. I'm sure they'll be good, sort of thing." So, you know what? The real exciting thing about, and this isn't really to do with Wrestle Kingdom at all, but the real exciting thing about Sho and Yo being in Chaos is that it's really going to freshen up those tag matches. Like, That's going to be fantastic because they have some talented. I was going to say kids, but they're not kids. They're 28.
Way older than us.
They're 28 and 29. And fun fact, both of them, Sho and Yo, were actually in the Wrestle Kingdom 9 Battle Royal. I actually remember them as a tag
like a
team.
Young Lion Battle Royal or something?
No. They were in the New Japan Rumble.
Oh, really?
So they were in the New Japan Rumble. And what I also thought was quite funny is I actually first saw them way back, just before they went on, or like not long before they went on their excursion. I saw them on like a New Year Dash show, and I remember that they were there, and I had no idea they're like in black trunks. I didn't really actually understand sort of what was going on at the time, but I thought that was really cool how
That's pretty awesome. Now this is where I basically had to make this is completely like unfounded a prediction, whereas my other 3 predictions are sort of based on historical evidence and sort of where it's going. This next match number 4 on my card, right? This is in the same place you might remember that we had Cody Rhodes versus Juice Robinson last year. Now these matches 4 and 5 are essentially my audience foreigner piss break matches, right? Because I feel like we're going to see 2 singles matches between 2 Western guys, so 2 Americans perhaps. Now my first one is and now we've been seeing these vignettes for some guy called Switchblade, right?
Yeah.
We don't know who it is.
Believed David Allen Meltzer has very heavily suggested it will be Sami Callihan or Jeremiah Crane or Solon Crow, depending on what promotion you watch. Which is cool. I mean, like a lot of people are a little bit lukewarm on it, but I think it can definitely work. Trust me. If you've seen him in Lucha Underground, he absolutely can work. So, so you think it's going to be something to do with Switchblade?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a brief squash type match with
A squash.
Yeah, I think he's going to win. I think this is going to be like his first big singles win in New Japan. I don't know. I just have him like I just picked some random guy who's sort of treading water and hasn't really doing anything of note at the moment. Now, who do you think that might be?
Um,
Who's someone who you could put in that match who's wouldn't lose anything from losing it, wouldn't gain anything from winning it, is doing completely fuck all.
What, Yoshihashi?
Yes, correct. Absolutely correct. So I just put this in there just to make the numbers up on the card, and also because it makes sense for there to be like if they're airing all these hype vignettes for him to get some kind of minor win at Wrestle Kingdom. This Switchblade character, whoever it is, I just think they're gonna win against some guy like Yoshihashi, some lower card guy who the audience kind of likes. It has a bit of credibility still. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that is likely, but I don't think it'll be a squash because I'm not going to count. Forget last year's Tiger Mask W versus Tiger the Dark, which went for 6 minutes and 34 seconds. The second shortest match was Cody defeating Juice Robinson, and that went for almost 10 minutes, so 9 minutes 37. So I wouldn't say it will be a squash. I could see it going for 6-7 minutes, which I guess by New Japan standards, that's almost a squash, yeah. But I think you're right. Now, whether it's going to be Yoshihashi,
it could be David Finlay as well. That's a possibility.
It could be David Finlay. Yeah, it could be David Finlay. It could be. It actually, if there's a chance it could be someone like Makabe or Nagata or something like that if they want to get him on the card based on the G1, even Tenzan or something like that. I mean,
could be Kojima.
Yeah, exactly. It could be Kojima. I could see them to try and keep it over because unfortunately sometimes Japanese fans can be a little bit racist, and just not really care based on the idea that they're just foreigners. Maybe they might mix them with maybe even Billy Gunn. I mean, I don't know. Like they could. I do think you're right. There will be some kind of match with that, but I don't know what it'll be. But funnily enough, a Wrestle Kingdom 12 rematch. I don't know if I'm gonna commit to saying this is my prediction, but what I find quite funny is judging by how this year has gone. Cody versus Juice Robinson would be a far better match this year than it would be last year.
Do you know that is my prediction for the Ring of Honor title match this year?
Yeah,
that was my next match actually. I was going to talk about.
Well there we go. Okay, there we go. We actually haven't discussed this before, so this is all live. So we actually haven't discussed what match it's. Okay, there we go. I think we are going to have a similar card now because, that was what I was thinking. I was thinking if they're going to put the ROH title on the line, even when they still have a US title now, so they have an extra title from compared to last year, right? So that means they've got to get another title match on the card. The only way I can justify seeing the ROH title, Ring of Honor, on the show is that if it was against a New Japan guy.
Yes, exactly. Yes, 100%.
And that will be a pretty good match, I think. In terms of what's the word? A shorter match, nothing crazy, nothing 4 or 5 stars or anything like that, but just a solid match that is sort of used to sort of bridge the gap, I guess, between the shows and stuff like that. So yeah, that'd be cool. And Juice is just so much more over now. That it would just be awesome to see. I love that guy.
I don't have him to win the match though. I still don't.
No,
think
neither do I. I don't think he'll win. No.
But I think that Juice Robinson is going to.
Al Malloy's in the chat. Al Malloy.
Oh, very good.
Holy shit. Hello, Al.
That's going to mean nothing in the download.
Oh,
but,
the VOD boys are thinking, "Fuck is going on."
But yes, no, I think that we're going to see a Juice Robinson singles match on the card. I think that he's got too much goodwill with the fans to have him lost in the shuffle. I think in a meaningless tag match or something. So I really do think that we're going to see him maybe rematch Cody Rhodes. That would make sense. I wouldn't be against that match. And I think Cody's just too much on a roll at the moment with his ring gimmick and what's going on for him to
ring. And obviously people I think over exaggerate how to use a stupid term, but cucked Ring of Honor are like, oh my god, they, like New Japan just owns them and blah 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 blah. And they don't. They still want a relationship with that company, and and it's not like I don't think they're just going to be doing it as some joke or anything like that. So I think that Cody will definitely be on the card, whether you like him or not. Like, I'm not a massive fan of him from like a wrestling perspective, but from a personality perspective, the guy's great, and he can get people invested really well because he's got a good character. And I guess that's like one of the big generic criticisms of like the indies and like the non WWE spectrum is that people don't have character, but like, that's one cool thing that Cody brings from. That's the one credit I will give to WWE, is that he is essentially a WWE created guy, and he's able to sort of bring a little bit more of that personality to Ring of Honor. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think so too. So those two are like my piss break matches. My next match number 5 on the card, is for the IWGP Tag Team, the Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. Now, I don't know. This one is also a bit of a far-fetched idea, but
you said just the heavyweight tag team. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the heavyweight tag team match.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of hard to predict as well, but I think that we're going to see Killer Elite Squad are going to go as the champions.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to come out the champions. I think it's going to be
they better not.
War Machine defeating Killer Elite Squad and the team of Jeff Cobb and
yes. Yes.
in a three-way. It's going to be a three-way tag team match for the heavyweight title. What, did you have that too?
Well, no, fuck's sake, I actually do, because if you're wondering why I'm being a little geek here, it's because the heavy, very much massive rumor is that the global the World Tag League, will be the team of Matt Riddle and Jeff Cobb, who Al Malloy in the chat has seen both of them wrestle live, I believe, in OTT. So they both will. They're going to be in that, and I feel like they're going to have a good showing, and especially with Cobb, with Lucha Underground not as future uncertain right now, not much can really happen. So I think that they can definitely get on a card. I mean, Ricochet was able to when he was Prince Puma. So I think that is, and in fact, this is sort of painting New Japan in a bit of an unfair corner here, but I almost feel like anything else would be a disservice, judging by how, in my opinion, underwhelming the heavyweight tag division has been this year.
Oh, yeah.
It's just been the same match over and over again. And like, I like War Machine, Killer Elite Squad are just there, and God, they're fine, like they're cool as well. But it's just been so many of the same formula, same matches, that having Cobb and Riddle in there would be just fucking great.
Yes. Now I actually have War Machine to win here though, because I think they're still owed like a proper tag title reign. Like the last couple have been pretty underwhelming actually.
Yeah.
And then like when they have been tag champions, that competition's been like the same two teams the entire time. Like I don't think they even maybe they faced another team. I don't even know.
Wasn't it? It was the freaking where they did the thing with the Destruction Tour, where it was like the same match 3 times, right? Wasn't it? And they like retained twice, like the team War Machine, and then they lost it in the last night or whatever, the last night of the tour.
No, they retained all 3 times, didn't they? Oh wait, no, you're right. You are right. Sorry.
Yeah. So Killer Elite Squad, they're champs, right? Yeah.
Yes, and then they had the exact same match again at King of Pro Wrestling.
That's right. And I actually didn't watch that. I only watched I was out that night, so I didn't even go back and watch it because it was that exact same match. And New Japan does like rematches and stuff like that a lot of the time, but the thing is, when it's like at an elite level, like Kenny Omega versus Okada 3 times, I could see that match 100 times because they're that good. But when it's sort of like middling sort of formulaic sort of tag match sort of stuff with heavyweights, it there's no desire to watch it 4 times in a row. especially in
No,
4 weeks or 5-6 weeks.
Now, my question is, how do we even get to this match though? Because last year, like, it made sense for there to be a three-way match at Wrestle Kingdom. So I don't know how we're gonna get here. Like, if War Machine are gonna win World Tag League and then some chicanery happens, or
Yeah.
I don't know. This one is like what I would like to see, but I don't know how they'll get there.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
You know?
I don't know how they can. I feel like the way that they can do it is by connecting it to the global. So I keep saying global tag league because I'm thinking of freaking Noah. World Tag League, because that's kind of what they did last year with the whole thing with what's his name, Yano, right? Like they did this whole thing with Yano.
Where he stole the trophies or something.
So
yeah, they can't do that 2 years in a row, can they?
No, I don't think they would do the same thing, but I feel like they can build it to a story at that point or something like that if they're going to justify it being a three-way. But yeah, the problem is I think we're also coming at it with a bit of an American or English Western-centric view. And this is what WWE does a lot of the time for their big cards. They put a bunch of triple threat matches because they want to get people on the card. Whereas New Japan traditionally doesn't really do that many triple threats. And as we get to the top of the card, me and you have a similar idea with what they want to do for.
Yes, that's my
junior tag for the junior.
That's my next match. Match number 7 is a three-way match for the junior tag title.
Exactly. So we can't. Not every match for a title can be a three-way. So someone is there's going to be a dramatic lack of title match card. Like there'll be another 8-man tag right early on in the card. We're probably missing this. We haven't properly gone through it, and it will become more clear on the day. But there will be an 8-man tag. Somewhere in between, but maybe before the ROH title match, that'll be with people that can't get a match sort of thing. Like
Bullet Club versus 10 Cozy and Nagata and Maccabee or something. That's
right. Yeah, something like that. So you were going to say 7th match. I'm going to say that I think that in terms of maybe you're right. Okay, maybe I might move it up anyway. All right, so go ahead.
Well, yes. Okay, so I have a triple threat match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Now, I have Hiromu Takahashi going over against Kushida and Will Ospreay.
As do I. Yeah.
You got the same winner?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Very good.
But I do think that. Yeah, I mean, Ospreay will hold it until Wrestle Kingdom, which is good. I still think he'll end up winning it back the same year again. I think he may even win it from Dragon Lee or something like that. I feel like Hiromu will have that title, but not have it forever, sort of thing.
I disagree actually. I think that this next year is going to be the year where he dominates or is the ace of their junior division. It kind of seemed like it was going that way this year, but I think if you look at who had it longer, I think Kushida actually held the title longer.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Kushida won Best of the Super Juniors this year as well. So, I think that this year coming, we're going to see Hiromu placed firmly at the top of the junior division, and I think that they're going to have a singles match between him and Ospreay finally, maybe at the New Beginning show afterwards.
The reason why I think that he won't hold it all year, sort of thing, is because and that this is actually connected to WCPW is actually going to be rebranded to, I think, Defiant Wrestling in a month or two. But there's been this whole storyline where what was it? Yeah, with Ospreay and Kushida. And I feel like they want to just keep, do it. I feel like they want to do another singles match of that again.
But they faced each other in 2 singles matches this last year.
Yeah.
And also, not to mention the year before. So I don't know how many.
True, but
I don't think New Japan is so hot on that idea.
Of Will Ospreay versus Kushida.
Yeah, I mean, like the idea, but I think their plan, and this is something I have it come like the whole story of this card is Los Ingobernables de Japón being like a dominant faction, where
Right.
I think anyone who's in that faction is sort of groomed for long-term success.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I think Hiromu was put there to begin with. So
Yeah.
I think we're going to see him win the title back at Wrestle Kingdom and then hold it for a considerable amount of time.
Yeah. Well, the longest reign in a while is Kushida, which was like 257 days. He won that in Wrestle Kingdom 10, and he held that for a while. And then like Bushi won it briefly, and then yeah, Kushida, blah 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 blah. But before that, the longest reign was, and I think actually it may be the longest.
Was it Prince Devitt?
Yeah, that's right. It was Prince Devitt of Finn Balor, who held it for where is it? 419 days. So could he hold it for that long? We'll have to see.
I don't think he'll hold it that long, but I think at Wrestle Kingdom 13, I have a feeling we're going to see a rematch from Wrestle Kingdom 11. I just think that it seems like this generation's feud for junior heavyweight title is Kushida versus Takahashi. I think that's like they're like the Liger and Tiger of this generation.
Yeah, I can see that. And interestingly enough, I'm just looking at it now because I wouldn't know this off the top of my head. This is kind of cool. Is that the person with the second longest amount of reigns, or like second like most days reigned for the junior title is actually Devitt, who has held it for over 1,000 days. So I feel like they'll want that record to be gone at some point, and I think it will either be Kushida or Hiromu that will get that record for sure. Like you know, within the next couple of years, it's a while away. It's definitely a while away.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. Of course. Now, did you have anything for the Never title?
The Never title, I am. Well, you can never be sure, but I think my thought was that, so if Suzuki is indeed the champion walking in, which I doubt it's Toru Yano, you know, based on power struggle, I think I'm going to go with the dark horse choice that I feel like it's going to be against Ishii.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I think it'll be against Michael Elgin myself.
Ooh. Yeah, now you've said that. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either. But yeah, okay.
I think Elgin had a couple matches against Suzuki earlier in the year, but I think enough time has passed for it to be fresh again. I think Michael Elgin will get a big win here against Suzuki.
I've forgotten about Elgin, and that's a bit unfair of me actually, because he's had a good year. Like you know he missed out. He was actually going to be on the main card originally, right, with the whole last year, but he got some like eye injury. I think it was against a defense an IC title match again. I think Naito beat Elgin for the Intercontinental Championship last year, and he like got like some scratched trachea or whatever the hell it is, like the eye thing, and yeah, that like fucked up all their plans and stuff like that. So that's really shit for him. So I think you're right. There's definitely a potential that they'll put him on the main card to be like, okay, you deserve it. Like you're over for a Gaijin as well. You're really over with the fans. So why not?
Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, on the flip side, I feel like everyone's clamoring for an Ishii singles match.
Oh, of course.
And
course.
He also deserves it. And that's the problem with Wrestle Kingdom, is that it is such a big show. And it's growing, you know, every year sort of thing. It's getting bigger and bigger, more international fans and stuff like that. Is that it's becoming increasingly hard to do these cards because you want everyone to get an opportunity, but you also don't want it to be like an 8-hour show. You know, you can't just have a million matches.
That's true. Although my card has the same amount of matches as last year's, actually.
11?
So 11, yeah.
Yeah.
Including the pre-show match.
Yeah.
So I did actually find a spot for Ishii on my card. So
okay.
I still do have the Ishii singles match, but as far as it goes, I just had to come up with like a big Hoss match they could have against Suzuki, and I don't know. I like Michael Elgin. I think he's a good guy, and I think I don't think he's going to go for any other title except the Never title. I think that's the only place for him on this card. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just what I think. Now the next match I had. Now this is somewhat controversial because it's the third match from the bottom, or from the top rather. The third match from the top. I had the Intercontinental Championship match as the ninth match on my card, or eighth match on main card, and it was Hiroshi Tanahashi defending against Tomohiro Ishii.
Oh, that's a good one too.
And I actually have Ishii to win.
Oh, that would be great.
So that gives
another
top-ish guy, because he's been positioned quite high on the card. It gives another top guy the IC title. Gives Tanahashi time to rest up.
That's right. If going with that, like I say, I accept that. I would say it'd be like the perfect way to essentially ride out Tanahashi. Just have Ishii just destroy him. You know what I mean? Like with it, just absolutely destroy him. Like soul crushingly. Where Tanahashi can't even do the go ace thing. Like just kill him dead, sort of thing. I would love to see that. That would be amazing. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So if I'm gonna go ahead with with my prediction of it being against Suzuki, I'm going to just put in someone like Goto. Then I'm gonna say for the third highest.
Okay.
But I don't really think that'll happen. Just based on Goto's booking this year, like sort of his lack of push. No. It's gonna be Manabu Nakanishi, I think.
I just had to think, like the way I was thinking about this card is I was looking at the top. Now there's like 3 major singles titles. I was trying to think like who are like the top 6 guys in the company. And I could come up with a solid top 4, but then I had to like improvise a little bit on the other 2 guys.
Yeah.
And Ishii was one of them, I thought, because he made it to the finals of the US title tournament.
Mm-hmm.
He had a really good showing in the G1 climax. He challenged and unsuccessfully challenged Naito for the rights certificate for the match at Wrestle Kingdom. So he's had pretty high profile singles matches this year. And I don't know, I just thought like, if anyone's going to go for the IC title, it should be him, a guy who's never won it before. I feel like for him to go for the never title again would be a disservice to him as well, because he's had that title like 4 or 5 times at this point.
True. Yeah.
It would just be sort of a rehash of the same thing.
Yeah. No, I see what you mean. If I'm looking at the roster right now, there's very few people that can actually be in that position. These never/IC title position right now, based on the what's coming up as well and what the main event is. So yeah, if you're looking at it right, like it can literally only be like a combination of like Yoshihashi, Toru Yano, Honma, who's out, so it can't be that. Like this is for never I'm talking about or whatever. Kojima. What else? Shibata. He's unfortunately and like I could definitely if Shibata wasn't injured, I could see, or permanently whatever is happening to him, I could have seen it being Tanahashi versus what's his name, Shibata, because of their absolutely brutal history, like their real life heat, because of him leaving for MMA back when it was the hot thing to do. So exactly. That's like sort of. I mean, they have acknowledged it and stuff like that, but that could you could make that match heated anyway. But unfortunately, that's not happening. Let's move on to the co-main.
Yes. Now I think we have the exact same co-main, judging by our card so far. Do you have Kenny Omega versus Kota Ibushi for the United States Heavyweight Championship?
That is exactly it. Yep.
But who do you have to win this match?
That's a tough question, because I feel like once it happens, we will know once we get into the match and once it's over, we'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, that's yeah, that would be right. But I don't know. Like, I'm going to say that I think that Kenny wins because I just think that he'll hold that US title for a while. But at the same time, I wouldn't be upset if Kota Ibushi wins it.
Yeah, I think Kenny too, but that's only because I don't see a path for Kenny after after the show if he loses.
Yeah.
So I just think, and this is like total of fantasy booking too, because I don't know. I don't know if New Japan's going to want to do this match because it seems to be like a majority of their time as the Golden Lovers was actually in DDT Pro Wrestling.
Yeah. But I don't think they're as New Japan are nowhere near as like insecure about their competition than WWE is. Like they don't try to obscure it. For example, I mean, if you look at All Japan Pro Wrestling's big show about a month or so ago, you had Kojima on there, you had Taichi on there in big singles matches on the card, and like they let it happen. They've worked with Noah. They've had Noah guys on the card win matches at Wrestle Kingdoms and stuff like that. So I think New Japan, they know that the fans know about DDT and stuff like that. There's no point really. And in fact, New Japan also loaned Tanahashi there a few years ago in the famous feud against Harashima, and it was a rare time where Tanahashi played heel. Because I know the DDT fans booed the absolute shit out of him. It was like the coolest thing ever, actually. So I don't think that's as much of a problem as you may think it would be, if in terms of like, not wanting it to happen. I feel like it will be the co-main.
I just worry that New Japan doesn't give a shit about the Golden Lovers. Like, I don't know if they really care, but
yeah, maybe.
Like, I think it's more of a big deal to us than them. You know what I mean? Like, I think New Japan would be sort of. It's like if they were to like have another match now between Yujiro Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito. It's like they were tag partners so long ago that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but I mean, they made sure to specifically bring it up after the G1, like when they sort of like hugged after the match, and like and also another thing that we sort of miss, and there's the interview which was translated where basically they expressed desire to have a match, and like Ibushi was like, yeah, if we have a match, like I'll die, sort of thing, like as in like, I'm scared of him, sort of thing. So it is a subtle storyline, but I think it is an existing storyline, and I also think that I think that there's a chance it doesn't happen, but I feel like there's nothing else either of them can do.
Yeah, unless you see maybe Tama Tonga or someone like rebel against Bullet Club and challenge Kenny Omega. Like, that could happen.
But that to me, I feel like they know Kenny's worth, and they know. I mean, they've acknowledged how big he was in terms of getting an international audience to watch New Japan. If they put him in that kind of match, that would be if he was against like Tama Tonga or something like that, right? That would be like the 6th, 7th match from the top, and I know that like Bullet Club fans get like a bit of a bad rap, for being like obsessive over them, but people would be pretty outraged about that actually if they did that. And I feel like they don't want to piss away their international audience because they're going to be returning to the US. They're going to be thinking about going to Australia. Kenny is a huge part of their expansion, and they put so much time and effort into him. If he just went off to WWE, that would just undo everything that they've done. Basically,
I think after this cease and desist thing, I don't see him going to WWE.
Oh, same. It's probably the best thing that could happen. Yeah, but hopefully New Japan don't take advantage of that and just like not push him. You know what I mean? I don't think they'll do that though either.
Yeah, I feel like at this point we could liken the US title though to Nakamura's time as IC champion.
Right.
Like he was the champion for so long because sure he was like one of their top stars, but they weren't going to put the title on him because they had Tanahashi and Okada. So otherwise, I think Nakamura had a bit of a reputation for being a lazy wrestler when like he didn't get his way, so they put that title on him so he could have something to do. And not the same. I'm not saying Kenny Omega's a lazy wrestler, but I'm just saying like he's a very, very, very good wrestler, arguably the best on the planet at this point. But if he's not challenging for the world title, or sorry, I keep calling it the world title. I know it's the heavyweight title, but if he's not challenging for that, then they have to have something important for him to be doing. So why not create a title for him to build prestige and prominence for, and then
the US expansion, which is coming up. So no, I agree with you on that point.
Therefore, like a prominent match against a really, 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 really good wrestler in Kota Ibushi seems like the perfect thing to do. They have history. It's already a pre-made feud, essentially. Yeah. And Kota is not going to stick around long afterwards, probably knowing his track record. So, although in saying that, our next match, if my outcome is to be believed, then the winner will need a credible babyface challenger.
Right.
So, with that being said, shall we discuss the already set in stone main event of Wrestle Kingdom?
Yes, I'll let you start.
Well, after 3 years in the making, 3.5 years, 4 years in the making,
Wrestle Kingdom
we've got, that's right, we have the main event seeing the IWGP Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada defending against the G1 Climax winner Tetsuya Naito in what will be the most anticipated match in quite some time for New Japan.
Absolutely.
And I absolutely feel that this is the time to pull the trigger on Tetsuya Naito and have him get the big win here and finally. It makes sense for the storyline. The fans initially rejected him, and then he went away and became the Los Ingobernables character and the anti-authority guy, and now he's won the fans back, and now it's time to do what he couldn't do back in Wrestle Kingdom 8 and win in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom for the title and defeat Okada and finally gain the support of the fans in the process.
Yeah.
So it's a really excellent storyline, actually. In fact, there was a video uploaded the other day, or was it today, where someone went through and documented the history of their.
Is it the guy uploaded? What's his name? Like Sling Blade? It's like Sling something.
Show Buckle or something.
Yeah, that's right. We were talking about that today in the New Japan Discord, and one of this Finnish chick was like getting sort of, and like this other guy was like getting quite annoyed about it because some of it was sort of inaccurate. Like one thing, I've heard the video is good and I definitely will watch it, but one misconception that people say is that like Naito was like getting booed everywhere in 2014. Like he wasn't being booed, he was still popular, he was just like mid-card popular. Osaka was booing him basically for a meme, right? Like they didn't hate him. He like said, if I come back and I don't have the title, I want you to boo me, basically. And so they did. So like it was a little bit embellished that he wasn't like a hated Roman Reigns sort of guy.
It was more silence, wasn't it? Like, isn't that how
like
Japanese fans show their dislike as indifference? And I feel like, I don't know, imagine a parallel universe where Naito was still the Stardust genius. Like that's bizarre to me. And but honestly, my absolute ideal finish is him winning with the Stardust press. Can you imagine if he pins Okada using that move?
Yeah.
That would be incredible. I don't think he will.
The pop would just... The crowd is going to be unreal. And we were there for Okada Omega, which is one of the loudest crowds I've ever heard. I mean, loudest crowd I've obviously ever been in, but like even just like watching it back, unbelievably loud and just like, I mean, and this match is going to be even louder, I feel.
Oh yeah.
I think the top matches, Kota Ibushi Omega is going to be incredibly loud as well. Like if you're one of those people that doesn't watch and you've sort of just tuned in, sort of thing, and you maybe think like, oh yeah, New Japan, like, Japanese wrestlers, like the crowds aren't that loud. They don't really give a shit. You're going to see very much that Japanese crowds can get very, very loud. And in fact, their crowd volume is kind of better structured than a lot of Americans, where it's just sort of like goes crazy hot first before they do anything, and then they just sort of shut up, and then they just try and chant shit. Whereas like New Japan, or like in Japan in general, it sort of crescendos. It sort of like slowly rises, and then explodes. You know?
Yeah, and then every big move towards the end of a match is met with thunderous ovation.
Yeah, yeah. And
now, yeah. Sorry, go on.
Do you remember the 60-minute draw at Dominion?
Yes, back in June.
Every time, and like the Young Bucks actually talked about this. Remember how loud it was? Like it'd be like 40 minutes past, and then 50 minutes past, 55 minutes, 57 minutes, 1 minute, and every time it just got louder and louder, and like
yeah,
it was like people were like, oh my fucking god, they're gonna go to a 60-minute draw. So that's an example. If you want to see just an insanely loud crowd, check that out.
Oh, for sure. And this 2017 has been the best year
Hey, Fraser.
I think New Japan have possibly had in terms of match quality, and Okada's reign is we're watching like one of the most it's going to be one of the most historical reigns of all time, if you ask me.
Definitely, yeah.
This reign with Okada. Now, I do think it's going to end at Wrestle Kingdom. He'll probably get it back.
Well, I mean, of course, but like, what will happen is the way they've timed this is just unbelievable. But the day before is the day that he will overtake Shinya Hashimoto for the longest reign.
Isn't it also the day he'll overtake Hiroshi Tanahashi for the longest combined reigns as well?
Something like that. It's absolutely ridiculous how well timed it's going to be. So Okada's, basically, long story short, Okada's going to get his record, right? But he's also going to lose the title, which is just so brilliantly poetic. And people say, "Oh yeah, like it's predictable. Who wants to watch?" But when you watch, you will see that it will not be predictable. Like when you actually watch the match, like it's like with the Okada Kenny Omega match. You watch it and like you're like, "Oh, okay, well this is probably going to happen." The amount of times I genuinely thought it was going to end, was unbelievable. I thought it was going to end at the 30-minute mark.
Well, that's right. And the thing with New Japan is because they have pretty much exclusively show their stuff on New Japan World, they don't conform to like a time limit for their shows.
Yeah.
So some of their shows go for 5 hours essentially.
Yeah.
Now I was just kind of like looking at my card, the way I would, my ideal Wrestle Kingdom card, you might say. The top 5 matches have potential. Each of them have potential to be match of the year candidates. You're talking Ospreay, Takahashi, Kushida, Elgin, Suzuki, Tomohiro Ishii, Tanahashi, Omega, Ibushi, Naito, Okada. That is like a who's who of the world's best wrestlers right there.
Yeah, I mean, and last year's card was just unreal as well. And you're gonna see an improvement on it. And I'll say this: I think that if Dave Meltzer ends up going this year, because I know he wanted to go last year, but he didn't go. And I actually got this guy, Owen Ray, from Twitter, who's on Squared Circle, whatever. There's a PWG show tonight. He said he'd actually ask him, Dave, whether he's going. If Dave does go, I feel like he will end up rating this event the greatest wrestling event of all time. I genuinely think he will. Because you know how, there's that bias when you go to a show. You think it's better than it is, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe not even you think it's better than it actually is. I think it is just it's peak wrestling is when you can see it live,
Oh yeah,
and
exactly.
If Dave goes, this is we were talking about before we went on, but just how there's that real sense of WWE fans getting increasingly more frustrated because more people are talking about how good New Japan is. You thought that the praise that Kenny Omega and Wrestle Kingdom got this year. Next year, it's going to be objectively, it's going to be a bigger crowd, right? And guarantee you, based on ticket sales, pre-ticket sales, it's going to be bigger crowd. There's going to be more reaction, more international fans going, more people watching it at home on New Japan World, more people watching it, with the replays on Access. Dave Meltzer being at the show. This is going to be a huge event, and I am going to go out on a limb and say that they will get 40,000 people in the building. It may not be
yeah,
40,000
it'll still
people
be, yeah.
sold, but it'll be 40,000 in
Yeah.
the building. The atmosphere is going to be electric.
Yep. Oh, yeah, exactly. And I am, I'm telling you, like, last year's show, if that was anything to go by, what they've done this year in the build up to this show, they've added, the US title, which is essentially adding another match to the top half of the card. Instead of, adding a undercard match, they've added another main event. So it's automatically, I think we're in for a treat here.
Yeah, that's right.
But yes, like you said, this has. I mean, look at the sales ticket. It's a sale ticket. Ticket sales. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, the Arena A is almost completely sold out. It took until December last year to achieve the same thing, and they did it in like opening week.
That's exactly right. So
it's because the domestic audience is more into Naito versus Okada than they were into Omega Okada, because I think Omega and Okada had more of a meaning to us than to the Japanese fans. Because do the Japanese fans really care about global expansion? Like, is that something they really care about?
I think, on some level, I mean, it means they're going to get better talent. It means they're going to get better, that kind of thing. I think they do care. The hard, or at least the smart fans would care, because it'd be like following wrestling like the way we do. Like, watching a promotion grow, it's for the same reason. It's like, well, does it really matter if it gets bigger if you're still enjoying it? Technically no, but I think they do. I mean, maybe not casual fans, but like people would care. Yes, I reckon.
Yeah. I know. I think so, but I think the story of this particular main event, the Naito Okada match that it has been building for, what we were saying, like almost 4 years now. It's something that I think has grabbed this audience more so than last year's main event. It's had more build. It's got two homegrown talents, and ultimately, I think we're going to see a bigger crowd and a more invested crowd than last year. And last year's crowd was already heavily invested, so.
That's right, but they did draw more people in the building for Wrestle Kingdom 11 than they did 10, and that was the culmination of a 4-year rivalry. So that just shows just how incredible Naito is at rallying the fans behind him. Because Tanahashi's a huge name, but Omega drew more people in the main event. So people definitely care about Omega as well, but it just goes to show how much Naito has just embraced, or people have just embraced that guy. Like, it's pretty cool, really.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's funny actually, because I'm a big Omega fan, but I'm actually more excited about this match than I was about their match. I don't know. That's interesting. I'm just a massive Naito mark. That's just my problem.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Very excited.
Me too. So I think that's pretty much it. I'll just say this one. Well, before we go, my card features 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 title changes.
Yeah. So,
out of the 10 titles they've got. So, we're not gonna. I don't know if we want to play like a prediction game, like, what happens if I get all the predictions right or whatever. But I have a feeling this looks to be a fairly reputable prediction. So
yeah, I'd say so too. So yeah, I think when we actually get the full card, we'll come back and analyze it, compare what we guessed, and then probably actually do like a proper prediction of the winners of the match.
Yes,
so
and we might even do that live in Tokyo.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, because we're there like a full almost 2 weeks before the show, so that's cool. So
the show probably won't be totally announced until after we're there. So
I'm trying to think when the tag league ends, because we get there on the 21st.
I feel like I looked this up and it ends like on the 18th or something.
That's right. And then there's basically, I think there's Road to Tokyo Dome shows or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any shows between when we get there and when Wrestle Kingdom's on.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look that up, because I think you're right. I mean, obviously we're gonna see plenty of other wrestling during that time. That's all good. But yeah. New Japan Road to Tokyo Dome, December 16.
Okay.
So yeah, so we'll probably we're gonna, but don't worry, we'll be a lot of wrestling stuff like that. I'll probably end up setting up some other account like Instagram or something like that, where I'm just gonna post like hundreds of wrestling photos when I get there for some of the shows, like from All Japan, Dragon Gate, and shit like that. Like it's gonna be awesome. It's a niche of a niche. I know that, like judging by the fact there's 3 people watching right now.
3 people who've accidentally left the tab open on.
Yeah, it's a gigantic draw. Clearly, I think ours even gone. So we've actually, the 2 of the 3 people here, Game Cindy and Fraser, don't even watch wrestling. So that is
who's the other person?
Yeah.
Like
someone else who
mark.
maybe shots could be shots in the chat. Yeah. So, but no, thanks guys for listening to that stream. We'll expect.
Thanks for watching on video on demand.
Thank you for watching, and thank you for the VOD. Do it for the VOD. And it's been good fun, and can't wait to talk about it more. I'm pumped. I'm very, very excited. This is a very exciting time.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
Okay, you can stop it now.
Just end it there.